Hello students, welcome back in the next video session. In today's class, I will tell you how to combine the data frames. We have already seen how to combine the NumPy array 1D and 2D arrays. Then next we have seen about the series, how the series gets combined. Now we will see how to combine the two or more than two data frames. So there is a function called concat which is used to join or concatenate two data frames along the rows or along the columns. If you want to join the two data frames along the rows, then also it is possible. And if you want to join the data frame along the columns, that also possible with the help of concat function itself. So first of all, we will see how or what is the syntax of the concat function. So here you can see we have specified here pd.concat. Pd is the namespace for the pandas. Dot concat under the bracket or as a parenthesis, we have written two data frame which we want to join, that is the df1 comma df2. This is one of the way to join the two data frames. The second one is the same syntax, but one argument is added over here, and this is ignore index equal to true. So this is also used to concatenate the two data frames. What is the purpose of ignore index? I will come to that very point. And the third one is pd.concat df1 df2, the same syntax, but here were another argument, that is axis equal to 1 is specified. So what is the meaning of ignore index or axis? So here it is. So when you will specify with the help of concat function ignore index is equal to true, then it is used to create a new indexes in the resultant data frame. If you will ignore, means in the first case, if you will not specify ignore index, then the two data frames, two different indexes will appear. Okay, two different row level will appear, like df1 will have 0 1 2 3 and df2 is 0 1 2. Then that will be coming, means no changes in the resultant data frame. Okay, but if you will specify ignore index is equal to true, then both the data frame will join and the row label or indexes will be changed accordingly in the resultant data frame. That we will see in the practical. And in the third case, when we have specified the axis equal to 1, so if you will skip this axis equal to 1, then the two data frame will join along the rows. Means in the first case, I have not specified here the axis argument. Therefore, the data frame will be joined along the rows. That means the result will be the union of two rows from both the data frames. Okay, so both the data frames rows will be joined or concatenated together when you will specify axis equal to 0, or if you will not specify axis parameter here. If you will specify axis equal to 1, then the data frame will be joined along the columns, because it is written if skipped. If you will not specify axis equal to 1, then along the rows the two data frame will be joined together. Okay, so this we will see practically in our ideally. So let us move to the ideally. So here you can see that I have created the two data frame with the name df1 and df2 with the help of two dictionaries d1 and d2, and separately I have taken the output for the data frame 1 and 2. Data frame 1 contains a, b, c as a column. In the same way d2, the another data frame d2 also contains a, b, c as a column name. Only the value gets changed, 3 rows 3 columns for the first data frame, and second data frame will also have 3 rows and 3 columns. So when you will combine these two data frame with the help of concat, this is the statement that you will specify to join two data frame. This two data frame, when it will be joined and it will be stored in the another data frame called df3, means the resultant data frame after joining will store under the data frame 3, which is df3. Okay, and I have taken the output for that. So this is the first syntax what we had seen without the axis argument. So I have written the statement as two data frame joined along the rows. When you will not specify axis is equal to 1, then the data frame will be joined along the rows. In the second case, when you have specified pd.concat df1 comma df2 axis equal to 1, then two data frame will join along the columns. Okay, and I have taken the output for the same. And in the third case, pd.concat df1 comma df2 ignore index equal to true when you will specify as an argument, then the two data frame df1 and df2 will be joined and the new row index will be generated or created. So this three output we need to pay attention how the output will be coming. So let us move to the run screen, and when you will execute it, you will see that the two data frames separately will coming over here, as well as the three different joint data frame, resultant data frame. The output is coming now. The first data frame is df1, second data frame df2, separately the output will be coming. Along with the output, concat 3 joining data frame, resultant data frame will be coming. One will be joined along with the row. In the second case, it will be joined along the column, and in the third case, the new output, that means the new row indexes, row label will be created. So here the output is ABC 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 7, 6. This is the first data frame. This is the second data frame, and the two data frame join along the rows. So you can see along the rows, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 7, 6, 6. And the same time the second data frame first row will be joined in the resultant data frame, which is df3, 10, 20, 30, 20, 50, 12, and so on. And the main thing that you need to focus here is the index or the row label 0, 1, 2 and 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2 is for the first data frame and 0, 1, 2 for the second data frame. So this has joined along the rows. In the second case, when you will provide the axis equal to 1, here in the case, which is two data frame joined along the column, and for that you have specified axis is equal to 1, which is here axis is equal to 1, two data frame join along the column, then you can see here the output ABC 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 7, 6 is, this is the selected one is the first data frame, and the this from here the selected one is the second data frame, and both the data frame is joined together along the column. Along the column, if you have to join, then you have to use the axis equal to 1 argument for the concat function. And in the third case, I have used the parameter ignore index equal to true. In that case, the same along the rows the data frame will be joined, but at the same time you can see here the index or the row label has changed accordingly, means 0, 1, 2, and then it was not 0, 1, 2, but afterward it is 3, 4, 5. So the new index will be created when you will specify ignore index is equal to true. So when you need to change the indexes of the data frame after joining, then you have to use the parameter as ignore index equal to true. In that way, you will see after joining the data frame, the new index will be created. So this is about the concat function, the joining of the two data frames. Next, we will see the quantile function. So let us move again to the quantile function. So here it is the quantile function. This quantile functions in mathematics, in the statics branch, you have maybe many of you are knowing about that. This is not the new concept. This is what in statistics The same here, the concept we will follow it. Only the thing is that when we will use along with the data frame to find out the quantile or quartile, the function name we will be using it as quantile. So what this function returns, or what is the purpose of this very function? So this function returns the values at the given quantile over requested axis. Axis may be 1, axis may be 0 for the row as well as for the columns. So whatever, if you want to find out the quantile for the rows, whichever rows value, that can also be possible. Or if you want to if you want to find out the quantile for the columns value, that also can be done using the quantile function. So first of all, you should understand what is quantile. So quantile are points in a distribution, the set of numbers in a set of numbers, accordingly it will be distributed. Okay, so the quantiles are the points in a distribution that relate to the rank order of values in that distribution. Okay, so maybe you are knowing there are four quartiles, like the first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, and so on. So the middle value of the sorted sample, if you want to find out the middle value, set of numbers, 5 set of numbers, 6 set of numbers, 10 set of numbers is given, and you have to find out the middle value. Middle value means what? The median value. Then it will be known as the median quantile. So here middle quantile, or it will be known as the 50th percentile. So the middle value of sorted sample. But if the set of numbers is given, then if the numbers are not sorted, not in increasing order or not in any of the order, then first of all you need to arrange it in an increasing order. The set of numbers should be arranged in increasing order, and then after, whichever will be the middle value, that is known as the middle quantile, or it is known as the 50th percentile, and actually it is known as the median. Okay, median is the middle value in a set of numbers. Okay, so the median is a special case of quantile. Median is the special case of quantile, and it is the 50% quantile. It is known as the 50% quantile. So there are three names for that median. One is the 50th percentile, another one is the 50% quantile, and one more we will see at 0.50 quantile. In a set of numbers, the numbers will be not 1 or 2, it can be more. So based upon that set of number, we will find out the quantile, that is the median, or 75th percentile or 25th percentile. Okay, so centiles or percentiles are descriptions of quantiles relative to 100. Centiles or percentiles are descriptions of the quantiles relative to 100. So 75th percentile means it is 75% of the set of the number, and 25th percentile is 25%. Okay, so this centiles or quantiles, what is the use of it? The use of this particular function is to find out in a given set of number which will be coming under the 25% of value or the 50th percent of values. So whatever we have seen just now, example if you will see, then for example, if percentile is equal to 25, then it is the first quartile, or it is also known as lower quartile. First quartile, which one is known as first quartile? If it is 25%, or it is the 0.25 quantile, or you can say it is 25% quantile. So there are three names. First of all, if the percentile if 25, then it is known as lower quartile or first quartile or 0.25 quantile, as well as 25% quantile. If percentile equal to 50, then it is the second quartile or the median. Very easy to find the median value, the mid value of any set of numbers. Okay, or it is the 0.50 quantile or 50% quantile. So these terms you need to remember. 0.50 quantile is also known as 50% quantile or percentile if it would be 50. If percentile is 75, then it is the third quartile or upper quartile, or it is the 0.75 quantile, which is also known as 75% quantile. Clear? So this whole thing, what we have learned, we will apply in a set of numbers. The questions may be coming, the set of numbers will be provided to you and you have to find out the 0.50 quantile. Maybe the questions will be find out the 50% quantile or 0.50 quantile. Then we will use the function quantile in Python pandas, but manually you should know how to calculate it. Okay, so let us move to ideally how to calculate the quantile. Let us go. You can see here, this is a program to calculate first or Q1 or 25% quartiles, or second quartile which is known as Q2 or 50%, or third which is the Q3 or 75% quartile. The terminology you should know. Okay. So 25% which is known as Q1, Q2 which is 50% which is also known as median, and third quartile is 75%. So if these three you need to calculate, and this only the frequently asked in the examination, 0.25, 0.50 and 0.75 quartiles, how to find. So here I have taken one data frame with one column and so many rows, means these are the values for this particular column. 3, 5, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 18, 21. Okay. How many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So to find the median of this value, or you can say the Q2 or the second quartile, very simple. You just find out the middle value. So it is a 9, total 9 elements. So 4 this side and 4 right side. In between there is the 12. So 12 will be the median or 0.50 quantile. Clear? So if you will calculate manually to find out the median, then very simple, you have to see the middle of the value of in a set of numbers. So these are the set of the numbers. So here we will see 12 is the mid value. So this is the median, or median is known as the second quartile or Q2 value. Clear? So the DF1 is the name of the data frame, and with the help of this very dictionary, the data frame is created. I have taken the output for that, and the calculate Q1, which is 0.25, this one, first quartile or Q1 or 25% or 0.25, same meaning. Q2 or second quartile or 50% or 0.50. Q3 or third quartile or 75% or 0.75. These three will be frequently coming in the examination. So you have to use the quantile function to find out the first quartile, which is 0.25, second quartile, which is the median as or Q2, and third quartile, which is the 0.75. So if I execute this one, then the system will generate according to its function, according to its instructions, all these set in these set of numbers, which numbers will come as the median one, which one will be coming as Q1, and which one will be coming as Q3, that is the third quartile or 75%. So let us execute this one. So here you can see that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, these are the indexes. A is the name of the column, and these are these different set of numbers, and for these different set of numbers I have calculated Q1, Q2 and Q3. Q1 is 0.25. As you can see here, out of this set of number, 0.25 is 7.0. So this is 7 is the number which will be under the first quartile. Out of these many 9 numbers, the third position value, which is the 7, is the first quartile. And median will be the 12, which I have told you earlier. Out of this very number, 12 is the mid value. So 12 will be the median, and median is also known as 0.50 or Q2. And for Q3, which is 0.75 or 75%, this 14 is the 75 or 0.75 quantile. So this is produced by the system. How to do manually, you should know. There is a formula to find out the 25%, 50% or 75% quantile. This formula, or how to calculate this, I should say how to calculate this I will be giving you in the form of PDF in Campus Care. You please go through it, because in the examination you will not be providing the system, so you will be writing this is the 0.25 is 7.0. You need to calculate it yourself. So how it will be calculated, that I will give you in the form of PDF. Clear? So this I wanted to share you in this particular session. And there are many topics which is given in Pandas 2, which is in the second chapter, but it is removed for this very session because of the pandemic. So this will be the last topic for the second chapter, and in the next video class I will start the new chapter, which is the plotting, or you can say the matplotlib or pyplot. Till then you revise the topic for your periodic test. Okay, and do watch the video regularly, because many of you are in the habit of not watching the video thoroughly, and in examination you will face a lot of problem. So whatever I am telling you, please follow my words. So let us move. We will meet you in the next video session. Till then, you revise the topic. Take care. Goodbye.